Hello, dear students and ladies and gentlemen. This is a course on socio-economy and community development. This course is intended to be part of the requirement of MSc in Inspiration Economy, especially in the second semester. And you'll see that there are a huge relationship between Inspiration Economy and the community development in general. Now, we focus on this course in creating an in-depth knowledge about how the inspiration economy theories and practices and methods and processes and tools are related actually to the development of inspiration economy. And of course, we are going to also see how the mindset and the competency can be developed for the community through inspiration economy labs. Besides, in this course, we're going to focus on the approaches that is developed by inspiration economy in solving problems relevant to communities and community development or community challenges. In this course, also, we're going to communicate or talk about the communication that is we can promote in the culture of inspiration economy and how we develop the capabilities that is proper to harness again any socio-economic challenges through inspiration economy. Besides, we are going to focus on the capacity development using again the inspiration economy in solving complex problems in the communities or the socio-economic problems. And at the end of the day, of course, mastering the tools to create an effective socio-economic outcome. Now, this module is intended to help those who want to study it to explore the socio-economic challenges of the communities that would create its development. The module exposed the students for essential characteristics and the features of relations among community members and between inspiration economy, development expert, and community structures. Besides, the module also help us to build the relations with different NGOs and community leaders, including, of course, the community, which is leaders, whether they are youth or women or community leaders in general. Now, the part of this module is also to focus on how human relations and their project was taken care of. And we focus on also how inspiration economy focus on socio-economic development and how culture and the socialization process or the group dynamics or the conflict management or behavior science are the main constructs of the module. Now, in this module also we focus on the capacity of the students in creating development interventions so that we can create an economic behavior that is positive and effective in the community. Now, for that, we divided the lectures in this module to be about the meaning of community development and about the inspiration and resilience economy development, and then how to review the inspiration models that lead to community development, and then experimenting in the field, of course, about community development stories. Then we conclude with researching on how we can develop experts that can maintain and develop their communities. And then finally, we talk about creating projects of community development. Now, if we are in the classes and we are taking it physical, then we will be, or even online, I mean, if it is we are running a course, then we'll focus on also giving an assignments and, of course, talking about different case studies of inspiration economy. Now, in this module, usually it is done by open exam, and mainly it focuses on 70% it goes for projects, discussions, and so on. Now, if we talk about community development, we can see that one of the stories of or case studies of inspiration economy was about how the Amazigh, which is those people who live in the mountains in Morocco, and they are a specific ethnicity. They are not Arabs, they are Amazigh. They are living there, and how their community work together to create inspiring stories, whether in their villages or in their communities, and how they work together to again meet the challenges of their day-to-day life. Now, just to introduce for you the community development, we're going to focus on first about the history of inspiration economy, which is since its inception, it's focused on actually a special type of societies, government society, poverty-related society, migrant society, youth societies, women society, and so on. So this help to really study the related spillovers of these different communities and how they affect countries, or how they can bring creative, actually, economic solutions through the Inspiration Labs. The Inspiration Lab were conducted in more than 34 countries, and usually it was with Muslim-based areas. So they will have actually different religions, but mainly focus on also that Muslim have to be there in this community, so that because usually we see poverty among Muslims all over the world, wherever they are. The second thing is that we show how poverty could be eliminated with minimal resources and depending mainly on non-financial capital as natural and social capital. The projects has shown that inspiration economy can actually raise the capacity even during the challenging times like COVID and pandemic through self-sufficiency and social development programs. For that, inspiration economy, as you know, it focuses on community development through quality of life, through emphasizing resilience, through, again, improving inspiration currency, through improving the intrinsic power within the community, through creating path of mindset on labs or research that exploit these intrinsic powers, through radical and gradual change with minimum intrinsic powers compared to the outcome expected. Inspiration economy mission and community development focus on how we transform the community from being capital-based economy to being more of socio-economic driven community, which started more than 100 years ago, where we focus on prioritizing the social welfare. And then through time, we are transferring now, especially in the AI era, we are transferring towards or Internet of Things or the fourth industrial revolution to more of a behavior economy and actually collaborative and sharing economy, and exploring the intrinsic powers within the inspiration economy. The basis of community development involves actually the local community coming together to identify and find solutions. And these solutions usually to socioeconomic problems, mainly, for example, about reducing poverty, reducing migration of youth, empowering women, developing the, the people who are being challenged and they are weak within the community, and increase the social inclusion. Besides, also promote the economic development. Now, we say that effective community development, especially inspiration economy, is focused on asset-based, and it should be internal focus, and it should be relationship-driven. So three things are required when we do the community development. It should be asset-based, it should be internally focused, and it should be based on relationship development also. To understand the socio-economic focused development as per inspiration economy, we need to understand the human potential and the intrinsic powers as the currency of socio-economic development. This means we need to use collaborative and experimental spaces to explore the solutions with minimal resources. This means that we need to focus on pull thinking instead of push thinking. So we need to be more selective, and we need to shift from being dependent on, finding solution and to finding opportunities. So we should not be under the pressure to find solutions, but actually our strength and our capacity should focus on finding opportunities and then associating opportunities together to create the right pull thinking to bring the best solution at the end of the day. Now, one of the things that is we should focus on is that we can't bring any community development without taking it into a gradual steps. This means we need a maturity that is first start with identifying the challenges and opportunities within the community. Whereas there are challenges, there are opportunities, as we say always in inspiration economy, which means we use observation and reverse thinking to reframe the community problem. So the first thing to help the community to develop is that we see their problems and then we start to reframe it. Once we start to reframe the problem, so for example, instead of saying that the community have a lack of clean water, we can say, how can we inspire the community to create sustainable water solutions? So the sustainability of the water is more important than the clean water in the beginning. Then we talk about the clean water in the second point. Then we can do surveys or dialogues to uncover hidden intrinsic powers like local skills and cultural assets. Then we start to again design the inspiration lab. When we design the inspiration lab, it means it is about holistic abundance thinking, which means that we believe that the resources are always available and we should focus on creativity, not scarcity. We should not be worried about the resources. We should be worried about our capacity to explore the resources within. So, for example, a lab that will address youth unemployment could involve local entrepreneurs, educators, and youth co-designing solutions that will bring the solution for employment. So the visualization here is very important, as we can see, because it will help the participants to imagine the ideal future. What does a thriving community look like? And this will mean that we need to observe and collect the data on community behaviors and needs without bias. And this will lead us to, again, creating common sense, which will help us to simplify the solutions and repurposing unused buildings, for example, or unused assets for skill training and or other things. Now, the third step for implementing community development is to apply problem-solving techniques. Here, once we start to redefine the problem, and once we design and set up the inspiration lab thinking, which we create the abundance thinking, we visualize, we start to observe, we bring the common sense, then we start to apply the problem-solving techniques. Here we talk about the divergent thinking, which is the unconventional ideas brainstorming. So, for example, we might barter systems for skill exchange. And maybe we apply sometimes the convergent thinking, which means that we refine the ideas into actionable plan, piloting a community run recycling program. Or sometimes we should think about the mindfulness to focus on one problem at a time, improving literacy before tackling digital access. The fourth actually step for, again, community development is building inspirational models. And this is actually the most serious step that we need to be careful about in every sub-step. So we need to first to create scalable, low resource models that inspire others. For example, we might, for example, create a community learning hub where elders teach traditional crafts and youth, for example, offer tech training. And then we start to use cases like those in the book to replicate, for example, success. For example, reducing hospital waiting time by redesigning the workflow. The fifth step is about fostering the influence without power concept or approach, which means it will start to focus on empowering local leaders to drive change without formal authority, and train volunteers to mentor others. For example, women self-help groups teaching financial literacy. Sometimes it might be about celebrating small wins to rebuild or build momentum. For example, neighborhood cleanup day. The sixth step is about measuring outcomes, not outputs. It's very important that the mindset we focus on the quality of life outcomes, not outputs. So, for example, we need to focus on the outcome that will be coming from reducing anxiety in the community, or increasing school attendance, or reducing the school dropouts. So we use genuine progress indicator, which called the JBI instead of GDP, to measure the social cohesion, not just economic activity. Then I think we will stop here about when we talk about an example of a case study and the reform that can be done using, again, community development program. Thank you very much, and see you next time.